Time for a little change of pace. The last couple books we've seen were kind of serious. One of them was mine. And so I thought I would mix it up a little bit this week and show you a really fun book that I've had for several years now. That is Michael Northrup's Babe. I tend to gravitate towards family life and suburbia and just the strangeness of that reality. Something that we see very commonly, but in the context of human history is a very weird thing. And Northrup, I think, achieves that weirdness quite well. Okay, so this is a book. I got it off of Amazon in like 2015. I think there's a couple of places you can still get it. It's not a very large book. It's a landscape orientation. The texture of the outside does feel very much like a old school family album. But as we get into this, yeah, it's pretty fun. Pretty fun. What we're going to see are these like really vibrant color images of Northrup, his family, his neighbor's family in the 70s and 80s. And the pictures have sometimes a snapshot sort of aesthetic with the flash and color, but the the way that the images are seen are just so amazing and captivating. The big toothy grin and the faceless baby and these massive hands. Again, with the hands, I guess whoever this is has much larger hands than Northrup. I also get this very kind of first-person perspective, very much like embracing a first-person perspective. Again, the use of flash here is really kind of fun. This is a Eggleston-esque. Another thing that they did in the printing that I think really sells the kind of snapshot family album kind of thing is the prints actually have one more pass of like a varnish over them, so the printed area themselves has a bit of a pop to it, a bit of a gloss shine kind of sheen to it, which is subtle but works really well with the context of the photos. Come on, this is amazing. The skeleton. And I think it's fascinating too. We're like seeing skeleton decorations in Halloween or like anatomy and physiology or whatever that you would maybe have around the house as a kid. If they're out of context of that, they become these very strange objects to be in a picture. I mean, I have a hard time not laughing when I see a lot of these things because as someone that lives in a suburban environment with kids running around and toys everywhere, and it often feels like just craziness, and the things that we do to entertain ourselves are, fascinating at times. Northrup, I think that if you only look at these pictures and see the humor, then you really miss out on some of the really amazingly smart, lovely compositions that happen here with the tree and the flag and all these things. I mean, the way he puts together a photo, this lady with the camera cake that I'm assuming is for his birthday as a photographer with the reflection here, and the conch shell, which is kind of always in people's bathrooms in the 80s, or at least I remember. The red and the kid hiding his face with this. This reminds me of playing with my daughter this morning, my 2-year-old. The pig roast and just everyone's expressions on their faces, because it is a little strange to me to roast an entire pig and then people just crowd around and destroy it and eat it. I mean, I like pork like the next guy, but yeah, this work is very self-aware, I think, as well, or at least that's how the edit comes across, of like people are being photographed and they know they're being photographed. Like the camera's not this hidden viewer or anything. Like it very much is present. Or the artist, Northrup, is very present in the pictures. Sometimes his hands are present, but the camera is very present. So there's this kind of self-awareness that's happening. This strange cut right here. And then this woman, I don't know if you can see this very well, but there's flies on her face and flies all on the horse. And it's almost like one of those kind of like surreal 80s senior portraits, but then there's flies everywhere. So, sunburned kid with his little butt cheeks with Mary over here. Yeah, I think this is work that we could probably spend a lot of time kind of breaking down each picture, but that's not really what these videos are for. I'd rather just share the work with you and show it to you, because there's plenty of these books still in the wild that you can buy brand new, and that you should take it and you should buy it. And I think you can get one of these for like $30. It's a very affordable book. It's really well printed. But yeah, I think there's a lot going on here. I think my hope with showing this to you as well is like, I just want you to get a sense of the world that this book makes, a sense of what it feels like. Again, Northrup's always present. He's so present in a lot of these pictures, and a lot of them feel like typical family snapshots, but elevated many, many times over, aesthetically, compositionally, whatever it might be. Again, the camera is very present, being seen. And yeah, the self-awareness of the whole thing is part of the fun. Why is this dog in the window? This bit here with the kind of light painted areas, maybe he's using flashes or something. He had a whole body of work that was this type of thing with the Technicolor light thing. It wasn't really something I was super into, but you'll see it show up kind of experimenting in this work at least. And like most good photography, I think that the work probably asks more questions than it answers. And those questions are often in and around, this is strange, like normal, everyday suburbia is bizarre. And we somehow have deleted all the bizarreness of these spaces. Or at least the way he's rendering his experience in this type of environment as being quite bizarre. It's my understanding that this was made kind of through the 1970s and through the 1980s, but it wasn't published until, I think one version was published in the early 2000s, and then this version was published with more or different pictures by a different name, now called Babe. After that, I'll have to look and see when it was actually published for sure, but there's a pretty substantial time gap between when the work was made and us seeing it here. And I'm sure that has an impact on thinking about the sequence and the edit of photos and what pictures stay in the cut and how the completely naked little baby with the 110 camera, we always had these around the house. I never used it because I didn't really know anything about photography back then. So this version was published in 2012. So not long. I bought this in 2015, I think. So there you go. Published by J&L Books. Michael Northrup's Babe. I tried to get the sticker off of it and it just kind of started tearing up the cover, so I just left it on there. So thanks a lot, Amazon. Another reason why you should not buy books from Amazon is they really could care less most of the time. Okay, I'll put a link down. I think you can get new copies of this on Abe Books. I know you can get it on Amazon, but I would say buy it from another retailer. Don't buy it from Amazon if you can help it. But this is a fun one, an affordable book. I enjoy looking at this work. It's fun, it's strange, it's soothing to me to think about my own strange, experience in suburbia as well. So check it out. It's Michael Northrup's Babe.